Good evening from wherever you are and welcome to today's Hope TV Newswatch Bulletin. We have so much lined up for you, including the BBI appeal hearing and the looming drought in parts of the country. My name is Dickens Luvanda and my sign language interpreter is Boniface Muredi. We start in Nairobi, where the government intends to vaccinate at least 10 million people against COVID-19 by Christmas this year. President Uhuru Kenyatta, in his address to the country from State House in Nairobi, also extended the nationwide 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. curfew for another 60 days in an effort to curb the spread of the COVID-19 coronavirus. The 13 counties which are declared as COVID-19 red zones will as well, on the other hand, continue with the 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. curfew until the end of July 2021. President Uhuru Kenyatta has emphasized on the need to embrace vaccination against the COVID-19 virus as he announced an accelerated vaccination plan with the 26 million Kenyans, who include the entire adult population, set to receive the COVID-19 jab by the end of 2022. The president made a State of the Nation address from State House in Nairobi on Tuesday evening, where he described the war against COVID-19 as a seesaw, where one wins in an area of one battle and loses in another area.
You win in one theater of a battle and lose another. And by default, this swing has created some form of survival instinct in our population. The fight against COVID is both a social as well as a health challenge. And as such, we aspire for herd immunity in the health arena. And we seem to have built what psychological experts called herd instinct in the social arena.
The president also extended the nationwide 10 p.m. to 4 a.m. curfew for another 60 days and also ordered that the 7 p.m. to 4 a.m. curfew hours in the 13 counties which had been declared COVID-19 hotspots will continue until July 31st, 2021. The counties include Homa Bay, Migori, Kisumu, Siaya, Busia, Kakamega, Vihiga, Bungoma, Kisii, Nyamira, Kericho, Bomet and Trans Nzoia counties.
Now Busia, Kakamega, Nyamira, Kisii, Migori, Siaya, Homa Bay, Kisumu, Trans Nzoia, Bungoma, Bomet, Vihiga, and Kericho are on heightened containment measures from the 17th of June of this year. In fact, out of every 5 positive cases in Kenya a fortnight ago, 2 were from the western region. And what is worse is that this region has experienced a high positivity rate of 21% compared to the national average of 9.1% at that time.
This even as the country's total confirmed positive COVID-19 cases hit the 183,603 number on Tuesday after the Ministry of Health announced 719 new infections. The new cases tested from a sample size of 7,608 have a positivity rate of 9.5% and therefore pushed the total cumulative tests conducted so far to 1,953,344. From the cases, 666 are Kenyans, while 53 are foreigners. For females, the oldest is 93 years old. In his address, the president also clarified that in-person worship will continue, keeping with the 1/3 capacity rule in accordance with the guidelines of the Interfaith Council, while public and political gatherings have been banned for another 60 days.
Without your exercise of civic responsibility and duty, government's swift response would have amounted to nothing. And for this, I once again thank all my fellow Kenyans.
And now the Court of Appeal has begun hearing an appeal launched against High Court's judgment that invalidated the BBI process. A 7-judge bench led by the Appellate Court President David Msinga for the better part of the day had submissions by the appellate team, who include the IBC, President Uhuru Kenyatta, ODM Party Leader Raila Odinga, and the BBI Secretariat. And as Alice Diana tells us, the judges hearing The appeal rejected an application by lawyer Charles Kanjama that sought to strike out sections where he was affirming part of the High Court judgment that stopped the BBI process.
And with those remarks, we are now ready to begin.
Proponents of the BBI, led by President Uhuru Kenyatta and opposition leader Raila Odinga, started making their case as to why the High Court erred in invalidating the process. In his submission to the 7-judge bench, Solicitor General Kennedy Ogeto argued that there was never an intention to make certain parts of the Constitution unamendable as the High Court had ruled. Ogeto, who is leading the Attorney General legal team, being assisted by lawyers George Oraro, Paul Nyamodi, Kamau Karori, and Ken Nyakundi, faulted the judges for ruling that each of the proposed amendment clauses ought to be presented as a separate referendum question.
It is simply a call to this Honorable Court for the restoration of the people's sovereign will. Through our appeal, my lords, my lords, we invite this Honorable Court to affirm the Constitution as enacted by the people of this great republic. We also invite this Honorable Court to affirm that it is not for this court or for any other court to rewrite our Constitution.
Attorney General Kihara Kariuki, through his legal team, maintained that the High Court judges disregarded clear provisions of the Constitution in order to arrive at their decision. The government's chief legal advisor said the petitioners will demonstrate to the court that the High Court judges elevated their personal opinions and preferences over the Constitution and the will of the people, and as such, the Court of Appeal will find it necessary to overturn their May 13th ruling.
The learned judges of the High Court disregarded clear provisions of the Constitution in order to arrive at their decision. Number two, the learned judges effectively amended the Constitution. Number three, the learned judges of the High Court disregarded decisions made by their colleagues in the High Court, in the Court of Appeal, and indeed the Supreme Court. And four, the learned judges disenfranchised millions of Kenyan voters by ignoring their popular initiative.
The AG, through lawyer Kamau Karuri, told Appellate Court that the High Court judges erred in their decision on collection of signatures during the Building Bridges Initiative BBI drive, noting that the judgment solely focused on the process that preceded the signature collection and not the outcome. Siaya Senator James Orengo, while representing the BBI proponents, argued that the High Court limited the Constitution such that some clauses were not amendable. Earlier, the 7-judge bench hearing the Building Bridges Initiative appeal rejected an application by lawyer Charles Kanjama to strike out sections where he was affirming part of the High Court judgment that stopped the process. In striking out the application, Judge Okwengu termed Kanjama's attempt to revive the matter before the 7-judge bench as an academic exercise which will not change the situation.
And there was a third ruling also issued yesterday which restricted participation by myself in these proceedings.
And that order, insofar as the Attorney General is concerned, you are not challenging it. So I think that what you are telling us now is really more of an academic exercise. It will not change the situation.
The hearing of the BBI appeal, which has been scheduled to take place for 4 days consecutively, will continue on Wednesday morning from 9 a.m. For Hope TV News Watch, I'm Alice Diana.
Thank you, Alice Diana, for that report on BBI. Still on the same scene, Deputy President William Ruto has maintained that everyone is duty-bound to respect Constitution to guarantee an equal, just and fair society. Ruto says that whatever leaders pursue must be guided by the needs of the public rather than public interest. Ruto was speaking at his current residence in Nairobi when he hosted a delegation of grassroots leaders from Narok County, accompanied by lawmakers Ken Aramat of Narok East, Gabriel Tungoyo of Narok West, Soipan Tuya, the women representative of Narok County, and Rigathi Gachagua of Mathira. Ruto's remarks come in the wake of the BBI appeal case that kicked off at the Court of Appeal today. The DP has in the recent past been against the BBI process that seeks to amend the constitution. And now to matters devolution, whereby the delayed disbursements of funds has been cited as one of the major reasons hindering or derailing county operations and delivery of services to the public. During the annual State of Devolution Conference address in Nairobi on Tuesday, the Council of Governors chairman, led by Martin Wambora, said that failure by the National Treasury to release equitable share to counties in good time has been one of the reasons that contributed to a number of challenges facing the devolved units of governance. And as Dolly Muregi tells us, the Kenyan economy has further been adversely affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, with the African Economic Outlook report indicating that the country's gross domestic product GDP growth is expected to decelerate to 1.4% from 5.4% in the year 2019.
County government had been forced to wait for long before receiving the allocation of the shareable revenue during the 2020-2021 financial year due to delayed approval of Division of Revenue Act and County Allocation of Revenue Act 2020 by both the Senate and the National Assembly. This being one of the challenges posed by the outbreak of COVID-19, with the delay occasioning deferred settlement of eligible pending bills.
Delayed disbursement of equitable share to the county government by the National Treasury, and have led to myriad charges for county governments, which include but not limited to non-compliance of county governments regarding timely payment of employee salaries and remittance of county employees' statutory deductions.
Besides COVID-19 pandemic, the Council of Governors claimed that dealing with other emergencies such as drought, floods, and the locust invasion became an uphill task as a result of the delay. At least 29 counties have so far enacted County Climate Change Acts, with the remaining counties urged to fast-track and enact them before.
There were 16 counties that had already passed climate change acts and policies, as well as set up climate change funds. As we were planting trees, the new CEO, Mwiti, informed me that from Kajiado to Makueni to Embu, the number of counties that had passed that legislation had gone up from 16 to 29, meaning we have just about 18 that have not done it.
The Council of Governors Chairman Martin Wambora on Tuesday led the council at the annual State of Devolution address in Nairobi, where he noted that an increase in fuel costs and agriculture input has severely affected the agriculture sector, with food production expected to deteriorate due to high production costs. The council signaled out the Business Laws Amendment Act No. 1 of 2020, which amends the Land Act 2012 and Land Registration Act 2012 by removing the requirement of obtaining certificates of payment of land rates or rent from the county government as a key source of revenue for counties.
Tea Act 2021 that establishes the Tea Board of Kenya, which will undertake regulatory functions meant for the counties under the Constitution. These laws seek to undermine the devolution, and the council and parliamentarians of goodwill must work together to amend the offending statutes and ensure that they conform to the Constitution of Kenya.
The last 7 devolution conferences have focused on various issues, with key focus on devolution journey, including the space of national and county government in the implementation of the Big Four agenda. And now the 8th conference, which is set for Makueni County from August 23rd to 26th, will focus on multi-level governance for climate action. Dolly Mirigi for Hope TV News Watch.
And the National Drought Management Authority, NDMA, has raised concerns and an alarm over an impending drought crisis in 9 counties in the larger northern part of the country. The authority has issued a report indicating that the shortage of rainfall from the month of March through to May have constituted to emerging disaster, with 3 of the counties already in the alert stage. Tiffany Wamboi has more on this.
The Board of Management took into consideration the public outcry in phase 2.
With the looming drought calamity in the northern region of Kenya, experts are calling for rapid intervention to the situation before it worsens. A report drafted by the National Drought Management Authority classifies the counties of Marsabit, Turkana and Mandera in the alert stage of the drought phase as the crisis worsens in Baringo, Isiolo, Kitui and Turkana counties. Devolution Cabinet Secretary Eugene Wamalwa at a sensitization workshop mentioned the Hunger Safety Network program as one of the interventions adapted to combat the upscaling menace in the affected counties. Wamalwa further stated that the change of policy from relief distribution to relief assistance has enabled the ministry to develop a digital platform for relief assistance to avoid duplication through double dipping by developing a single registry for all beneficiaries from the program.
So today, as we meet here, we want to see how we can deal with this challenge of the drought and see how we can improve on our response. And this was really the aim of the EDE program, to see how we could end drought being an emergency in our country by ensuring improved response.
Marsabit Governor Mohamud Ali urged the government to increase investments in the arid and semi-arid counties to mitigate drought emergency cycles by increasing the number of target beneficiaries in saving more lives.
We've urged the ministry and indeed the government to focus and increase investments in these regions so that we are able to overcome the cycle of drought emergencies year in, year out.
Reporting for Hope TV Newswatch, I'm Tiffany Wamboi.
And now to some education matters, whereby the Teachers Union, NAT and KUPPET have issued a 7-day ultimatum to the Teachers Service Commission, the employer, to table new salary offers and threatened possible court action and paralysis of resumption of the Term 1 if demands are not met. KUPPET, NAT and KOSNET officials joined TSA, led by its CEO, Dr. Nancy Macharia, for a consultative meeting on the 2021-2025 CBA negotiations at a Nairobi hotel, where they rejected the TSC's new CBA proposal, and with Ekelo Missouri saying that the COVID-19 pandemic should not be used as an excuse. Our reporter, Velma Mweresa, attended the meeting and prepared the following report.
Solidarity forever.
Kenya Union of Post-Primary Education Teachers KUPPET and the Kenya National Union of Teachers NAT have rejected the counter-offer that was brought forth by the employer TSC through a 2021-2025 collective bargain agreement CBA. The Teachers Union have vowed to lead an industrial action if the employer fails to heed to their new CBA demands and salary offers.
That the union therefore has made the difficult decision to decline the offers given today by the Teacher Service Commission. Consequently, we wish to inform the teachers and to the country the following: that KUPPET is reluctant to entertain a CBA with no monetary benefits, given the wide disparities in the remuneration across the various cadres in the expiring 2016-2021 CBA, and coupled with the sharp inflation in the country, this is the time to review teacher salaries.
In the collective bargain agreement by the Teachers Service Commission, the employer had agreed to extend maternity leave for both teachers and teachers on practice from 90 calendar days to 120 calendar days, fast-tracking promotion of teachers from ASAL and hard-to-staff areas, and not forgetting a pre-adoptive leave for 45 calendar days for teachers to bond with their adopted children.
The maternity leave, which we for our female teachers, which is now we are offering our female teachers maternity leave for 120 calendar days from 90 days, and the other goodies that are there, and you'll get that schedule.
According to KUPPET Secretary General Akelo Misori, the counter-offer is a huge blow for Kenyan teachers, even as all administrative proposals are in line with the demands of the union.
As we sat in the negotiation table, Teacher Service Commission put across what they had in the document. Surprisingly, not what we expected. Not what we expected. You know too well that what teachers are waiting for is better terms and conditions of service, and more so in remuneration.
The newly elected NAT Secretary General Collins Oyu said the union also rejected the TSC proposal because industrial relations must be improved so as to have harmony between the employer and the Kenya National Union of Teachers.
We have rejected the Teacher Service Commission proposal. We have rejected the counter offer. But we've said we must improve industrial relations. And that is why, even as we rejected the proposal, the counter offer, nobody banged the table. In fact, we rejected it smiling. We laughed as we rejected it, just to confirm the industrial harmony that is now existing between the employer and the union.
According to the Teachers Service Commission Secretary Nancy Karogo, the 2017-2021 CBA will come to an end on June 30th, 2021, with conformity of the constitutional provisions requiring employers from the public sector to obtain opinions from the SRC on the way forward regarding the new CBA of 2021-2025.
The CBA 2017-2021 will therefore come to an end on Thursday, June 30th, 2021, which is tomorrow. Aware that the CBA 2017-2021 would come to an end on June 30th, and in conformity with the constitutional provisions requiring employers in the public sector to obtain opinion from the SRC, the Commission sought an advisory opinion from the SRC on the way forward regarding the new CBA for 2021 to 2025.
Solidarity forever.
Velma Mweresa, Hope TV, Newswatch.
And from the KUPPET, NAT and TSC push and pull, we head to a short commercial break. Kindly don't go far, we'll be back with more stories.
This week on Turning Point by Dr. David Jeremiah.
None of us wants problems. I mean, I don't wake up in the morning and say, Lord God, give me some problems today. We want life to be smooth. We'd rather not have problems. We want happy relationships, fulfilling jobs, great health, obedient children, and problems get in the way of all of that, don't they? Problems hit us like storms, and they bring waves of fear and disruption. I don't like problems. I wish I didn't have so many of them all the time. But problems are God's way of driving us to Him. Problems drive us to the Lord and teach us to lean on the Lord. They grow our confidence in the unseen reality of God and in His involvement in our lives.
That's this week on Turning Point by Dr. David Jeremiah. Hope TV is where you look and live, with an excellent selection of the best Christian programming consisting of local and international content, of inspirational stories, talk shows, Bible commentary, youth, health shows, children entertainment, contemporary gospel music, extended times of worship, live broadcast, news, movies, drama, Christian ministry programs, and so much more. Hope TV is another quality service from Christ is the Answer Ministries with over 45% of authentic and credible local content every week. Hope TV is a sister station to Hope FM, Kenya's leading Christian radio station with footprints across the country. Tune in to Hope TV, where you look and live.
Welcome back, and thank you for staying with Hope TV Newswatch. And as we go on, Migori Governor Okoth Obado has made an application through his lawyer Kioko Kilukumi requesting that his murder trial be held virtually due to COVID-19 restrictions, particularly in the larger Nyanza region. Through his lawyer Kilukumi, Obado has written to the Director of Public Prosecutions, DPP, Nurdin Haji, saying that his county is among counties that have been declared coronavirus hotspots and cannot travel outside the county. Thus, the request to appear virtually during his trial scheduled for Monday, July 5th. Still in Migori, this is from Nairobi. I can see 3 people are in police custody after they were arrested in Nairobi, allegedly planning to commit a felony. A fellow suspect, a male suspect masquerading as a woman, was among 2 suspects arrested on Monday morning as they prepared to commit a felony in Lang'ata. 24-year-old Peter Omwemo Momanyi was arrested dressed as a woman alongside his accomplice John Mushiri Kimani, aged 25 years, after they defied police orders to stop. A statement from the DCI said that one of the officers who arrested them had noticed where there was something amiss with the appearance of the suspect. The 2 were arrested a few meters past the Mbagathi Bridge and crude weapons recovered from them. Momanyi was later found in possession of a knife and a chain carefully concealed on his waist. Detectives based at Lang'ata have since established that the 2 are among suspects who waylay fitness enthusiasts who jog along Lang'ata and Mbagathi areas early in the morning and late in the evening. Bomet Governor Hilary Barchok has rolled out the measles rubella vaccination drive in the county, especially after the county was regarded as among the areas with the highest measles, rubella, and tetanus prevalence, which are the major causes of death among the infants. Barchok says Bomet is among the 22 counties chosen to conduct a 10-day national campaign that intends to reduce the spike in the outbreak of measles and rubella in the country. Through the campaign, he said that the county seeks to improve vaccine coverage from 85 to 95%, with a target population of 99,992 of the children aged 9 to 59 months. 151 statistic health stations have already been identified and will also be used as immunization centers, while mobile units will also be available from exercise across the South Rift County.
I think we have had a number of cases that have been reported, and because of that, we have been marked that it is one, or we are one of the counties that are at risk. So we want to raise our average to about the national average to about 95%. At the moment, our total average immunization in the county is 84%. That are the people who have been fully immunized. When we take the average, it is 84%. But when it comes to MR, it stands at 50%. So that is quite low, and we need to raise that percentage to the targeted national average of at least 95%, and it is possible. So what we need to do in partnership with our friends, which include Red Cross, is to have community sensitization.
Still on measles Migori County targets 155,927 children in the rubella measles vaccination exercise. County Health Executive Kefas Nyamita and Public Health Chief Officer Paulina Molo, who presided over the launch at the Migori Komasimo Health Center in Kuria West, said that the Kuria community have for a long time avoided vaccination owing to myths. The Kuria community in Migori has since been urged to rally parents to embrace the measles rubella vaccination exercise.
I know Kuria West has a very high population compared to the other sub-counties. So we will give them slightly a higher target, Daktari, compared to the rest. So we are looking at a total of 25,000 children.
We are 22 counties taking this activity of vaccination. And I believe that Migori, as I rate it, is a special county. To improve the protection of our children against measles disease, the Ministry of Health in conjunction with partners plan to conduct measles rubella campaign in 22 high-risk countries based on the national risk analysis conducted by World Health Organization. The measles rubella vaccine will be administered to 155,927 children aged between 5 and 59 months from 26th tomorrow to 5th July in Migori County.
From Migori, now we head to Nakuru, where the county government has raised concerns over possible food shortage amid unreliable rainfall within the region. The county agriculture chief officer, Kibet Maina, said the county expects a reduced food production of maize and beans, which has been drastically affected by the current weather. The county had anticipated a production of 1.9 million bags, saying the same may change drastically due to slightly 1 million bags following poor weather, insisting that if the unreliable weather persists, then production could be even lower.
We were expecting an area of 1,000 hectares under maize and about 40,000 hectares under beans, which we achieved. And we are also expecting a production of 1.9 million bags this year, but our expectation may change drastically following the poor weather. So right now we are focusing, or we have somehow adjusted our figures to an expectation of 1 million bags from 1.9. And if the rains are not going to be received anytime soon, the expectation will go down. We also have a problem of pests and diseases, which also come as a result of the poor weather. We have had a resurgence of fall armyworm, which is normally associated with the dry spell, and farmers have reported the problem in most parts of the county. We have also seen problems with the beans. We have the hollow blight in beans. We have got the bean fly, and bean production in the areas that we normally get the beans is going to go down drastically.
I think there are about 5, 6 or 7 major problems facing the farmers. Number one is farmer aggregation. Farmers coming together, like in the Japanese model, where one village, one product. You went to that village, you knew they had onions. You go to that village, you know they have potatoes. They can have some things, but they are known predominantly for that. So we have a problem of coming together and prioritizing the value chains that work best for our community, so that we all produce, and we all produce to that standard. Secondly, is related to that. Because we are not organized, and because we don't have economies of scale from the value chains, we don't attract investments. So we don't have the investment for the water, the energy, and all those things that we need to be able to produce. Then the second, another one now linked to that is credit. If we don't have those economies of scale, we are risky. So we do not access credit. So because we cannot access credit, we don't have working capital.
Tangu msimu wa mvua ilipoanza, tumekuwa tukifuatilia na wakulima wetu wametuletea ripoti kwamba chakula inaenda kupotea katika sehemu tofauti tofauti hapa Nakuru kwa sababu ya upungufu wa mvua. Haswa maharagwe kwanza tumeshaipoteza, mahindi nayo ndio hiyo about tumepoteza karibu nusu, ile imebaki sasa inangojea mvua.
To some politics now, where Uasin Gishu Governor Jackson Mandago has called on voters in the county to ensure that the person who will be elected to succeed him in the year 2022 is a development-oriented person. Mandago is serving his second and final term as the county boss, and now wants his successor to also be someone who will spearhead peace and cohesion among the locals, given that Uasin Gishu County is largely a cosmopolitan area. He was speaking during a women empowerment exercise in Elgon View Estate in the outskirts of Eldoret town.
Mtafuta gavana ataweka kaunti hii sawa sawa. Mbona mwaka 10 tumekuwa na uwiano vizuri. Hatujakuwa na matatizo ya hapa na pale. Mzilete watu ya kuja kugawanya nyinyi na kufanyia nyinyi mikutano ya usiku. Unajua nyinyi wa Kikuyu. Unajua nyinyi wa Jaluo. Unajua nyinyi wa Kale. Mtapotea. Huyo ni mtu anataka mshahara, akishapata atawachana na nyinyi kwa mataa. Tuangalie mambo ya maendeleo. Angalia yule mtu anataka kuunganisha na kuweka watu wakae pamoja.
And from international scene, ex-Ivory Coast President Laurent Gbagbo has returned to his native village, Mama, after exile for the first time in 10 years, where he addressed the traditional chiefs and executives of his FPI party and accused the ICC of being biased. Gbagbo commented on the trial and his acquittal from the ICC for the first time since his return to Ivory Coast earlier this month. The 76-year-old returned home 10 years after he was taken to the International Criminal Court (ICC) on charges of crimes against humanity, and was charged after his refusal to accept defeat in a 2010 election that triggered a civil war that left 3,000 people dead. A constitutional court in South Africa has sentenced former President Jacob Zuma to 15 months in jail for contempt of court. In her ruling, the acting Chief Justice Sisi Kampempe ruled that Zuma snubbed the court order requiring him to appear before an inquiry instigating his conduct. Zuma has been jailed for failing to cooperate with the constitutional court when he called upon in January to attend the commission and give evidence before it, but instead he released a statement alleging that the court was politicizing the process. Zuma served the fourth democratically elected president of South Africa from the 2009 general election until his resignation on the 14th of February 2018. And now let's take a short commercial break. We'll be back with business and some sports action.
Join John Coston every weekday as he takes us on a journey through the Bible.
Whoever shall seek to save his life, if you go back to living for yourself, you're going to lose it. But whoever shall lose his life, give up his life for my sake, he shall preserve it.
Enjoy interesting, knowledge-packed, yet simple teachings through his humor and in-depth understanding of God's Word.
The last people that tried to put God in a box, literally, he rose again. He wouldn't stay in their compartment. If God was small enough for me to figure out, he wouldn't be big enough for me to worship.
Tune in to Hope TV for John Cousin every 10 p.m., 4 a.m., and 10 a.m. weekdays on Hope.
And from the business scene, the county government of Taita Taveta is working closely with the Kenya Airports Authority, KAA, to fast-track the operationalization of the Ikanga airstrip in Voi sub-county, while ensuring a tourism stakeholders forum at Africa Lodges. Taita Taveta Deputy Governor Majala Mlagoi clarified that a fully functional airstrip will boost the county's revenues from the tourism sector, with its trickling effects to be felt by residents at the community grassroots level. The Deputy Governor Mlagoi was optimistic that after proper placement of infrastructure in the project together with the completion of the airstrip will make the county a business hub that will receive regular scheduled commercial flights in addition to the private aircrafts that utilize the airstrip each and then.
Ikanga is a Kenya Airports Authority project. It's a national government project. But as a county government, together with some of the stakeholders in here, we've seen that we're losing a lot of opportunities not having an established airstrip that has regularly scheduled flights coming into the county.
Tourism is being supported by these cultural assets. As you've said, the museum is there. We can also have, those museums, just, what can we call it? We have the museum, of course, and the museums, we can have this museum showcasing other things, like the issue of skulls. The dark tourism has not been touched. This is because the county itself has not well documented the dynamic or the diversity of this culture, or the uniqueness of this culture, which is so beautiful. So we need to capture that. But
once we do that, we won't only be benefiting ourselves as Taita Taveta, that will be benefiting the region as a whole. Because there are many people who will be trying to figure out how they can get to other places other than Mombasa. Now if we have the airstrip here, I think we'll be opening up ourselves the same way Kwale has, the same way Kilifi has. Regardless of, for example, Malindi Airport, Vipingo Airport does a lot for them. In Kwale, the Diani Airport does a lot for them. I believe the same can happen here.
The county government of Kakamega has unveiled a 6 billion shillings affordable housing project that will ensure decent shelter for staff and its residents. Governor Wycliffe Oparanya, while speaking in Mumias, said that the county plans to construct 4,000 modern-story houses in Kakamega and Mumias municipality areas that will be sold to our staff and other interested people. The county has already identified a developer who will bring in a contractor to set up 3,000 houses in the first phase of the housing scheme, as a contract for construction of another 1,000 houses is said to be given to another private sector.
It is my intention to have Kakamega County as a city. And you cannot have a city without housing. If you don't have proper housing in a town, then you create slums. So I'm coming up with a massive housing project, which we are launching in the month of July. And there is a developer already who have been identified through competitive bidding. The developer will look for a contractor to do the work. We have targeted, for the first time we have targeted staff first, because this is affordable housing that will cost between 1 million to 3 million. So this one we shall give to staff, the staff that will pay 20%, because we will require also commitment from staff. But the project is up to 3,000 houses. The other 1,000 we shall now leave to private sector. They will be of the same design, but they will cost slightly more, because those ones now we shall be giving it to the to the private sector.
Still on business, a group of people living with disabilities in Eldoret, Uasin Gishu County have a reason to smile after they benefited from a donation of an electric incubator from the county government of Uasin Gishu. The incubator is meant to help the group advance in their poultry keeping activities, which they started following initial support under the county's Inua Mama na Kuku initiative. An initiative that was launched about 7 years ago and has now, up to date, seen over 2,000 women groups in Uasin Gishu benefit from various initiatives.
Since our members had already been trained by the livestock officers who are here, they now had skills to continue with the program.
Iwapo maeneo haya kuna shamba ya serikali ambako wanaweza ambiwa mradi yenu mnaweza kuipanulia hapa, I'm sure hawa wanaweza enda mbali sana.
Our intervention is on capacity development in various skills ranging from business skills.
Na sisi tunataka kuomba shirika la KEBS waweze kukaza, kuhakikisha ile chakula inauzwa ya kuku, ya ng'ombe, ya nguruwe, zote sikuwe imefika kiwango ambayo inahitajika.
And now let's go back to the field whereby Gor Mahia's Portuguese technician Manuel Vaz Pinto has been named the FKF Premier League May Coach of the Month. The Portuguese technician has been fitted after a perfect month for his club where they won all their league assignments, beating KCB's Zedekiah Otieno and AFC Leopards' Patrick Awesome to back the award that comes with a token of 50,000 shillings and a customized trophy courtesy of Football Federation of Kenya, FKF. In the month of May, Pinto masterminded crucial victories over Nairobi City Stars, Sofapaka, Vihiga United and Wazito FC to move from unfamiliar 8th position to 3rd on the log, raising hopes for another stab at the CAF Champions League. Pinto is the 5th gaffer to be awarded this season after Wazito's Francis Kimanzi, Zedekiah Otieno, Bandari's Andre Kasambungo and Stanley Okumbi of Posta Rangers, after the 4 were fitted in December, January, February and March respectively.
Thank you because of this award, but this is for my team, this is for my players, for my technical bunch. It's not only for me, this is the one teamwork. My team work a lot. The players put a lot of commitment in our work, and because of that, we deserve this. This is not when the coach is the coach of the month is because all people around him work very well, and because of that, I feel good. Of course, it's good for me, but it's good for whole team because they deserve this. Yes, I think was. As I say, was every day here. We put a lot of commitment, put a lot of focus. We grow as a team, and we try put in our players the mentality to win. They understand. First of all, they need to compete against himself. After that, they need to compete every day with other players here, the same position. and in the match they compete against the opponents. Because of that, they deserve this. They achieve in May, and we need to continue to work to achieve more this type of awards and of course this type of performance.
Ni motivation kubwa sana kwa team because hiyo May tuliperform vizuri sana. Tulikuwa tunataka tu at least to move kwa table, tulikuwa chini, so kila player alikuwa na waka towards ku achieve. Ndio imekuwa ngumu sana. Sasa hii mechi ni mingi sana, so tunahope tu vitu tutakuwa poa na tuko na game nyingine kesho tena.
And Brazilian international Fernandinho has signed a one-year deal to remain at Manchester City until the end of the 2021-2022 season. The Brazilian, who arrived at the Etihad from Shakhtar Donetsk in 2013, has made 350 appearances for the club and won 12 trophies, including 4 Premier League titles and a record 6 League Cups. The Man City captain insists he still has unfinished business and is targeting another shot at the Champions League after losing to Chelsea in their first final last month. And in last night's Euro 2020, Switzerland defeated world champions France 5-4 on penalties in the last round of 16 of Euro 2020 as Kylian Mbappe missed the decisive spot kick in the shootout following a thrilling 3-3 draw at Bucharest. Mario Garanovic equalized in the 90th minute as Switzerland came from 2 goals down from Jan Sommer, saved from Mbappe in the shootout to book Switzerland a quarter-final clash against Spain. In the other fixture, Spain reached the quarter-finals of Euro 2020 after an epic 5-3 extra time win over Croatia, which set up a potential mouth-watering clash with Switzerland. The action continues tonight as Sweden, who scored a late winner to top Group E last week, face off with Ukraine in the last round of 16 later tonight in Glasgow. With the Euro 2020 campaigns having progressed very differently so far, the final tie of the first knockout round will put together an informed Swedish side with the decidedly fortunate opponents who qualified with just 3 points and a negative goal difference. And that's how we wrap up our News Watch Bulletin tonight. Stay safe and have a blessed night. I'm Dickens Luvanda, and our sign language interpreter has been Boniface Murede. Have a blessed night.